So I had a question asked the other day about gut health. And it was sort of can you explain what gut health is? It was a random question that was asked. And I meant to get in here earlier and kind of answer that question. I've been looking for some kind of resources from my schoolwork or something that I could share with you about that, but I haven't been able to find anything that specifically kind of explains gut health. So I thought, well, I'll just hop in and do a quick little video just to kind of give an overview of it. It's actually a very complex topic. And of all of the training that I've been getting in nutrition and hormone health and gut health and all that, the gut side of it has been the one that's been hardest for me to wrap my head around. And I don't know why, but I think it's just because it's very complex. So the human body has a gut microbiome. And what that means is it is a small, there's a human microbiome and then there's a gut microbiome. The human microbiome stands for small environment. So it refers to all the bacteria that lives in and on your body collectively. That's the human microbiome. The gut microbiome is the bacteria that lives within your gut. And your gut microbiome influences things like your hormone health, your immunity, your metabolism, libido, mood, behaviors, what else? Even decision making. They even say that when people go from eating a poor diet and then they switch over and they start eating really, really healthy, it affects their gut microbiome when they do this. And interesting things start to happen with their decision making. All of a sudden, they start to make really big, important decisions in their life about things around job, career, relationships, which I think is really interesting because as soon as I started turning my body into a good, well-nourished machine, that's when all of these big decisions started happening in my life. Things like divorce. And so I'm not saying that that's, you need to run out and eat healthy so that you can go and get a divorce, but it's just interesting to me that there is a correlation there with, getting healthier. It affects your gut microbiome, which does affect your brain health, which does affect decision making and hormones and mood and behaviors and all of that. So it definitely makes things more clear. The problem with gut health these days is that in our modern world, our gut modern life is hard on our gut. We're constantly introducing toxins into our body. We're hard on our body. Our gut is busy trying to filter out things, trying to create hormones, trying to keep our immune system strong and healthy, trying to digest the food and create nutrients from it. It's just we're putting a lot of stress on our gut, and then we put in these chemicals and pesticides, prepackaged processed foods, fast foods, all this awful stuff that we just continue to dump into our body. It does affect our gut health. Taking antibiotics or using antibacterial soaps, antiseptics, things like that, that all negatively affects the good bacteria in our body. And so I just want to share a couple of interesting facts with you that I did find in some of my school resources that it's kind of interesting actually. So researchers have found that gut health is linked to almost every chronic condition that's out there. So we're made up of 90% bacteria, our entire body, 90% bacteria. That means that of all the cells in our body, 90% of them belong to bacterial bugs. Only about 10% of our cells are actually human. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? So there's bad bacteria and there's good bacteria. When the bad bacteria gets out of control, that's when we have issues come up with our health. You can think of your gut like it's a garden, right? And the bad bacteria are the weeds. So your garden is thriving and beautiful when the weeds are under control, right? But when the weeds grow out of control, that's when it becomes a problem. It suffocates out all of the good stuff, right? The key is to have is to keep it under control, to have a good balanced diet that helps to keep it under control, to eat lots of vegetables because those are good sources of prebiotics, which help feed the bacteria, the good bacteria in our gut. Probiotics help to repopulate even more bacteria, good bacteria in our gut. And that's going to come from like your fermented foods and things like that. And from, actually taking the probiotic supplements. Just a couple more things I wanted to share with you. This is interesting. Every person has a unique bacterial composition, sort of like a fingerprint, and it's always changing. There's trillions of bacteria in our gut that helps us to break down our food, while at the same time creating essential nutrients for the body. The gut microbiome influences our hormones, our immunity, our metabolism, libido, mood, behaviors, and decision-making, which I already shared with you. There's also some conditions, Candida, SIBO, which is small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, chronic yeast infections, bloating, autoimmune disease. All these things are related to an overgrowth of bad bacteria in the gut. So if you're struggling with anything like that, one of the things you want to think about is maybe taking some probiotics or eating more vegetables or more fermented foods, things that you can do to help protect that gut lining, eliminating the synthetic medications and things like Motrin. Even sadly, I would say if you like to drink, you probably want to eliminate drinking alcohol as well, because that will negatively affect your gut lining and your bacterial microbiome. You want to have a very diverse microbiome. What that means is there's different strains of bacteria. So always, if you're taking probiotics, switching up the strains of bacteria that you're putting in with each bottle that you buy is a good thing, a good idea. But also, being exposed to a lot of other people, pets, like they say when kids put their hands in the dirt, that's actually really good for their immune system because they're picking up different bacteria from the earth and taking it into their body. You pick up bacteria from your pets. You pick up bacteria from other human beings that you're exposed to. And the more diverse your microbiome is, the more diverse that bacteria is, the healthier you are. And it's kind of interesting because they say that like people who live on a Mediterranean type of diet and lifestyle tend to have the longest lifespan. Well, they're also socializing a lot, which means they're spending a lot of time with other people, taking in that bacteria from other people, which is positively affecting their microbiome, not to mention just the joy of engaging in relationships with other people. So that social interaction is a really good thing for our health. But they eat a lot of vegetables. They eat a lot of omega fatty acids. They do drink wine a lot. So I don't know. It's just very interesting that they tend to have a longer lifespan, and that there is research that says that it's very much correlated with their gut microbiome. That's the condensed version of gut health, but it goes so much deeper than that. And there's tons and tons of research out there. They're still doing it. Lots of science out there that people are just now realizing how important gut health is, that your gut is almost like a second brain. It's that important. Just making sure that you do things to take care of your health. One other thing that I wanted to share is that they say that you can take two people who eat the exact same foods, and yet one will be overweight and one will be skinny, and that can have a lot to do with their difference in their gut microbiome. It's a very fascinating, very complex topic that I am still learning more and more about every day. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. But really the best course of action for you, if you're concerned about your gut health, is to eat lots of vegetables, drink lots of water, introduce fermented foods as much as possible. Bone broth is excellent for healing gut health, healing your gut lining. You want, the collagen if you introduce any kind of collagen, which you would get from bone broth. But if you can't tolerate bone broth, taking a collagen supplement or adding collagen into like a protein shake would be very beneficial for your gut health. Not to mention your hair, your nails, your skin, all of that. But you do have to be careful because collagen can be sourced from fish, and if you have any allergies or sensitivities to shellfish or things like that, you want to be careful about where your collagen is coming from because it can cause you problems if you're having sensitivities to those. So yeah, I think that's about it. I just wanted to quickly share to answer that question. So thanks everybody. I'll talk to you later.